Hello, good day to my college students. This video is, of course, for college students, specifically to my general education students, the grade books or the literature. So today we are going to discuss about the development of European literature. Last time we discussed or we talked about the Western literature, and we will go down to specific. So we're going to discuss on how is the European literature the development of European literature. Okay, so you need to listen because there are questions that you are going to complete. Please get a piece of paper. Get a piece of paper, write your name. This is really very important for you to follow the instruction because I need to get your papers later. Please follow the instruction, guys. Especially to my grade book students, GE12 students. So kindly get your paper and pen, write your name, the date today, and the topic for today. This is the development of European literature. And then there are questions by set. So on your paper, you are going to write like set A and how many questions are there. So all you need to do is write the answer immediately. So I will post this one and you may check your group to when are you going to pass your paper. So all you need to do when you complete the questions already, when you answer everything already, take a picture of your paper with your name. And then, of course, have a screenshot that you are to see or to, for you to see or for me to see or to show the time. Okay. So, well, anyway, please take note of all the questions and listen very carefully of the things that will be presented, of course, and you can look at the screen to copy the things. All right. So I have here let me start. All right, so we have here the European literature. So development of European literature. So when we say Europe, conventionally one of the 7 continents of the world. Although referred to as continent, Europe is actually just the western fifth of the Eurasian landmass, which is made up primarily of Asia. The name Europe is perhaps derived from that of Europa, the daughter of Phoenix in Greek mythology, or possibly from Arab. And Arab is a Phoenician word for sunset. So Europe has long been a center of great cultural and economic achievement. Take note of that. Europe has been what? A center or long a center of great cultural and economic achievement. So, well, they are referred to as sunset. All right. So now question set A. Number 1, what are the other 6 continents of the world? Number 2, the name Europe is perhaps derived from that of Europa, the daughter of Phoenix in Greek mythology, or possibly from Arab. And what do we mean by Arab? And question number 3 is, it has long been a center of great cultural and economic achievement. So please complete this question, write it on your paper. Do not copy the sentence anymore. Just give your answer. Next, let's proceed. So we have here, what do we have here? The places in Europe. So Portugal, Spain, down to Montenegro. Development of European literature, ancient Greek literature. Well, as you see the movies of the ancient literature, ancient European people, you have there, look at their costumes. Okay. So as you can see, this is the kind of drama that they have. The classical vase, and yan, the way they dress. Okay. So now let's continue. There are 4 historical periods of ancient Greek. So first, classical. When we say classical, 900 to 323 BC, birth of original works. So this was the time where the original works can be found. So main literary types were developed to express the needs and ideals of the communities of which the writer was a member. Then the second period is the Hellenistic, 323 BC to 146 BC, Cosmopolitan Period. So literature was developed and written for the entertainment or scientific instruction of a small educated group. And then the third historical period, we have the Greco-Roman, 146 BC to 395 AD. Roman conquered Greece and ruled it for 600 years. Writers turned to the classical past to create a stylish Renaissance letters. Pagan literature gave way to Christian literature. Byzantine period is the fourth period, 395 to 1453 AD, period when Constantine the First rebuilt Byzantinism and renamed it Constantinople. It became the center of Orthodox Christianity. Religious poetry became the most prominent literature. So as you can see, these four periods, it gives, so you can see, you will really observe the development of the literature. At first, you have there in the classical, it is the period of original works. And then Hellenistic, this is considered the cosmopolitan period. So it is the literature was developed and written for entertainment. So now entertainment comes in the Hellenistic period. And then in the Greco-Roman, the Roman conquered Greece and imagine ruled the Greece for 600 years. Then writers turned to the classical past to create stylish Renaissance. And then the last is Byzantine period, because this is when the period or when Constantine the First rebuilt Byzantinism and renamed it Constantinople. It became the center of Orthodox Christianity. So when we say Orthodox Christianity, of course, we talk about a poetry that is full of what? Religious things, okay, Christianity. So those are the things. All right. So next question, set B. What is the period of birth of original works? It is the main literary types were developed to express the needs and ideals of communities of which the writer was a member. Number two, it it is called Cosmopolitan Period. What is it? Literature was developed and written for the entertainment or scientific instruction of a small educated group. Third, it is the period when Roman conquered Greece and ruled it for 600 years. So writers turned to the classical past to create a stylish Renaissance letters. Pagan literature gave way to Christian literature. And the fourth is, what do we refer to the period when Constantine the First rebuilt it and named it Constantinople? It became the center of Orthodox Christianity. Religious poetry became the most prominent literature. Okay. Well, anyway, I only project set A and set B questions, but in the following questions, or yes, the set C and set D, you will not read anything on screen. All you need to do is listen. So this is the set B. I just hope you'll find with it. And now we are going to continue. And our next is the ancient Greek literature. We are going to start from the ancient Greek literature. Okay. Let me share it. So, ancient Greek literature. We have here mythology. When we say mythology, these are, if you can still remember, stories about gods and goddesses have been collected by volume. So to Greeks and even Roman believed that all their activities of life were supervised by them. Gods and goddesses were like men in their everyday existence, but they had supernatural powers and were immortal. So as you can see, mahilig tayo sa mga gods and goddesses. When I was in high school or college, even up to this time now, yun lang, I don't have enough time to watch this gods and goddesses. I love to watch these movies. And we have Zeus, we have the names like, for example, Zeus, god of, parang siya yung I will give you the names later. Siya yung parang, let us say, pinaka-gods of all the gods and goddesses. So, mahilig sila dyan. So, it started from them. Greek mythology, set of diverse traditional tales told by the ancient Greeks about the exploits of gods and heroes and their relations with ordinary mortals. Okay, so Mount Olympus. In Greek mythology, it was believed to have been the home of the gods. On its summit were the palaces of the gods, which had been built by Hephaestus, god of metalwork, and the entrance to Olympus was through a gate of clouds, protected by the goddesses known as the seasons. Zeus had his throne on Olympus, and the gods feasted on nectar and ambrosia and were serenaded by the muses. So this is Mount Olympus. Okay. So 12 Olympian gods and goddesses. First, we have Zeus, the lord of the sky, the rain god, and the cloud gatherer. Hera, protector of marriage and married women. Poseidon, ruler of the sea, Zeus' brother. Hades, third brother of Zeus, ruler of the dead. Pallas Athena, daughter of Zeus alone, the goddess of the city, protector of civilized life, of handicrafts and agriculture. Phoebus Apollo, god of truth and god of light. Artemis, Apollo's twin sister, lady of wild things, huntsman in chief to the gods. Aphrodite, goddess of lone and beauty, laughter loving gods. Hermes, Zeus' messenger. Ares, the god of war, son of Zeus and Hera. Hephaestus, god of fire, blacksmith of the gods. Hestia, Zeus' sister, goddess of hearth, guardian of the home. Okay, so as you can see, there are this what we call the gods and goddesses, and then we tend to love the story. Parang ang sarap tingnan pag maglabas na sila ng power or something like that. Okay, so let's have set C. So please, I'm not going to show any reading, but you are going to answer this one. All right, set C number 1. You just have to tell me the name of the gods or goddesses. Number 1, Lord of the sky, the rain god, and the cloud gatherer. This is set C, question number 1. Lord of the sky, the rain god, and the cloud gatherer. Number 2, I love the movie. Para may part 2 na ata. Ruler of the sea, Zeus' brother. That's number 2, set C number 2. Question number 3. Apollo's twin sister, lady of the wild things, huntsman in chief of the gods. That's number 3. Number 4, goddess of lone and beauty, laughter loving gods. Number 4, the god of war, son of Zeus and Hera. Number 5, Zeus' sister, goddess of hearth, guardian of the home. Okay. So that's set C. 1 to 5 only. Okay. So now let's proceed to literature. I mean, Greek literature. So, the Greek literature as we have here. Okay. So, literature in Greek, what we have there, kanina, we have the mythology. We talk about gods and goddesses. So, let's have lyric poetry under literature in Greek. It was originally sung by individuals or a chorus, accompanied by the instrument called the lyre. Development in a more republican form of government, when each individual could express one's personal aims and wishes, and all the depths of human emotions were unlocked by the inspiration of the poets. So, Greek drama. Great literary innovations in drama were produced in Athens in the 5th century BC. Take note. Yung great literary innovations in drama were produced in Athens in the 5th century BC. They based their plays on myths that presented moral issues, especially the danger of hubris, arrogant overconfidence. That's hubris. Their plots often involve fears, conflicts in families, or dangerous interactions between gods and humans. Comedies also were performed in these competitions, and these plays displayed remarkable freedom of speech in criticizing public policy and making fun of politicians. Their plots could be fantastic. For example, having a character fly up on a dung beetle to ask the gods for peace, and their language featured jokes, puns, and obscenities. So that's Greek drama. Now, what are the qualities of Greek literature? Take note of these things, guys, for set 4 or set D questions. So, qualities of Greek literature. First, permanence and universality. So, when we say permanence and universality, it is read and admired by all nations of the world, regardless of race, religion, or culture. Second, essentially full of artistry. I'll take note, essentially full of artistry. Product of a people who purposely and conscientiously develop their physical and intellectual power. Third, originality. Greek minds had the supreme power of modifying and improving all that it touched. Fourth, diversity of talents. Greek mind never rested complacently on any one subject. It was ever searching, ever seeking. So we call it diversity of talent. So if you are talented, you are not just focused on one. All right. And then the last, intellectual quality. Greek mind challenges one to think for some purpose, to bring about some inner transportation. So you see, when you are going to open the Greek literature, these are the qualities, and it's kind of good. Think about it: permanence and universality. Essentially full of artistry. I'm sorry, guys. Pause kasi ako, binabanat ko talaga yung boses ko. And then the third, we have here originality. I love it. Then fourth, diversity of talents. If you are talented, you are not just focused on one talent. Why? Because they keep on searching and they are ever seeking. Intellectual quality. So Greek mind challenges one thing for some purpose to bring about some inner transformation. I'm sorry. So that's for the qualities of Greek literature. Okay. So now, please have it on your paper. Set 4, question number 1. Set 4, question number 1. Ready? Okay. The great literary innovations in drama under literature in Greek were produced in where? In the 5th century BC. Number 2, set for number 2. They based their plays on myths that presented moral issues, especially the danger of, that means arrogance or arrogant overconfidence. So the danger of blanc, that means arrogant overconfidence. Number 3, what quality of Greek literature is this? Greek mind challenges one to think for some purpose, to bring about some inner transformation. Number 4, another quality of Greek literature, Greek minds had the supreme power of modifying and improving all that it touched. Number 5, Greek mind never rested complacently on any one subject. It was ever searching, ever seeking. That's set D number 5. Okay, so I think we need to proceed to the next line. So please get ready for the set E. So we have here the development of European literature, the ancient Roman literature. So this time, let's have Roman literature. Okay, development of European literature, ancient Roman literature. So ancient Roman literature, you will see the difference now. If we will go back to the Greek literature and then try to compare. Take note the difference between the Greek and Roman literature. So ancient Roman literature, a great metropolis with a million of more inhabitants, magnificent buildings, and comfortable roads. Little original culture for most creative efforts went into the government. Also, the Greeks supplied the pattern for much of their literature and culture. Different types of writing include speeches for politics. Satire was a common form. There is a predominance of satire in Roman literature. Its purpose is to attack evils in the society of Rome. Take note, their literature or the ancient Roman literature's purpose of literature is to attack evils in the society of Rome. It flourished in Rome when social conditions were poor and Roman morals were low. The literature of the period praised the glories of Rome and Italian's countryside. Aeneid serves to glorify the state. And the greatest virtue of the Roman Republic was obedience to call of duty. For Romans, business was foremost and the mission to be accomplished had no room for pleasure and delight. So take note, the greatest virtue of the Roman Republic was obedience to call of duty. So for Romans, business was foremost and the mission to be accomplished had no reason for pleasure and delight. Okay, so now it's, we have here, let me move this, the Dark Ages. If you can still remember our introduction, we had that Dark Ages. And when we say Dark Ages, what do we mean by this? So development of European literature, Dark Ages in Middle Age and Middle Ages medieval literature. Okay, so let's continue to this thing. Dark Ages and Middle Ages. As the Western Roman Empire became weakened, the ills within it, barbaric tribes swarmed into it. These long years after the end of the Western Roman Empire from 476 to 100 referred to the Dark Age. Period of gloom was followed by the period Middle Ages, which extended from the 5th to 15th century. It represents the gradual but steady and laborious progress of civilization. In this period, the church was rising into power and authority. Practically all intellectual pursuits and activities took place in the monasteries. So this is the Dark Age. Sorry, I cannot move forward. Okay. So now epic. When we say epic, the literature of civilized Europe is believed to have begun with the epic literature of the Middle Age. So epics are part of the oral literature which later was written down. Epic is inseparable from the idea of grandeur. It is inferred purely as an individual can be the proper subject of an epic. A hero remains an individual, although he rises above the average human stature, but a hero becomes an epic hero when he represents something greater than himself and a nation, a race, a faith. Take note of this. I'm going to read it again. A hero remains an individual, although he rises above the average human stature, but a hero becomes an epic hero when he represents something greater than himself. And what is that greater than himself? A nation, a race, and faith. So they also reflect the life of and civilization of a heroic age and reveal the influence of Christianity. So there are four major epics in Europe. What are these? German, Nibelung Genlied, France, Song of Roland, Spain, El Cid, Italy, and Divine Comedy. I just hope I read it perfectly. Second, Romance. Second to epic, romance. Written in prose or in poetry. So yung romance nila, there is prose and there is poetry, which represents a remote or imaginative incidents rather than ordinary. So it's not an ordinary reading, it's not an ordinary literature. This is something that you are going to what? You're going to imagine. So again, written in prose or in poetry, which presents a remote or imaginative incidents rather than ordinary. Realistic experience. The word romance was originally used to refer to medieval tales of deeds and love of noble knights and ladies. So the characteristics of romance embodies the ideal of chivalry, set in a remote time and place, emphasize rank and other distinction, convey a sense of the supernatural, presents a hero engaged in pure adventure, include love as a major plot element, feature spontaneous, unmotivated fighting. Okay. Now, drama during this period. Mystery play. Any biblical plays performed, usually groups of cycles, during the medieval period. Morality play, type of medieval drama in which the characters are personified. Abstraction. Two main themes of religious moralities are the struggle between good and evil, powers for man's soul, and journey or pilgrimage of life. All right. So drama during this period. So just prepare for the set E because it's kind of long or longer compared to A to D. Okay, development of literature, Renaissance literature. Okay, Renaissance literature. In the Renaissance literature, Renaissance marked the rebirth of the human spirit. Rebirth made possible all the great achievements of modern man. The great discoveries beyond the seas, the new science, and the great modern literature and art. So major philosophical movement of Renaissance was Humanism, which advocates an emphasis on a group of subjects known as the humanities, languages, literature, mathematics, history, and ethics instead of the traditional scholastic pursuit, which emphasized logic, natural philosophy, science, and metaphysics. This is the Renaissance time. Now let's have the humanism. The attitude that emphasizes the dignity and worth of the individual. A basic premise of humanism is that people are rational beings who possess within themselves the capacity for truth and goodness. The Renaissance revival of Greek and Roman studies emphasized the value of classics for their own sake rather than for their relevance to Christianity. So take note of the humanisms under Renaissance here, attitude that emphasizes the dignity and the worth of the individual. So if you're going to think about it, if you happen to read one of their literary composition, you can really say, wow, kindness overload or humanism or humanity is there. Because as you can see, they are into like fighting or the struggle between good and evils, and they are more on good and they are fighting on it. So again, attitude that emphasizes the dignity and worth of the individual. So that is really something that you will love to read, because when it talks about humanism and when it talks about something what's good for an individual, it will invite you to read those things, and then you tend to have another reading about this kind of literature. So now, Italian heritage. Central feature of the Italian Renaissance was the fundamental individualism, which was a direct result of the perceived anarchy of the 13th century. So, in the Italian heritage, they found practical lessons and nourishment for their love of country. Take note, another thing, love of country in the history and literature of Rome. That is really something that we need, that we are going to appreciate when we are going to read one of their literary compositions, because they have their love of country. They have this something that you can say, wow, because the anong tawag natin dyan? The love for humanity and the love for the nation. Okay. Formerly, Latin was the language preferred by writers and scholars. However, some writers choose Italian for their greatest work, thus establishing Italian language. Sonnets were invented to express personal emotion. Drama, the interest in individual character is most intense. So drama under Italian heritage, the interest in individual character is most intense. Sino yung main character and the individual character, so your interest will be on that. So it is in the most intense. French heritage. Literature in France is divided into three periods. Age of Erasmus. Erasmus was a tireless editor of the text and a translator of voluminous writing of the church fathers. And then interest in spiritual, intellectual Catholicism, with piety free from superstition. Now, age of Rabelais. Rabelais began her career as monk, but soon became a physician. His religious belief not too different from Erasmus. And encyclopedic mind reflect enthusiasm for the new humanistic learning. Age of nationalism. Nationalistic age of French Renaissance literature came about because the religious unity that had characterized Western and Central Europe in the Middle Age vanished as Christianity was divided into Catholics and Protestant. Another way by which scholars divide Renaissance literature of France through its dominant characters. First, 55 years, intellectual humanism. Remaining 50 years, aesthetic humanism. So when we say intellectual humanism, it's more on logic, analogy, interpretations. It's more on the mind. And when we say remaining 50 aesthetic humanism, when we say aesthetic humanism, it's more on entertainment. Okay? So people are to be entertained or are entertained in the aesthetic humanism. So what will make the people happy? How to entertain or how to have fun with the people. So this is aesthetic humanism. Humanism to them as burning passion for material things and for new learning together with the love of antiquity and a rejection of superfluous dogma. Now, let's have Spanish heritage. Spanish heritage. Early 1500s, Juan Boscana and Garcilaso de la Vega introduced meter, verse forms, and themes of Italian Renaissance poetry, but other poets preserved the Castilian tradition of writing short verse. There are two types of novel under the Spanish heritage: the pastoral novel and the Picaresque. What's pastoral novel? Idealized rural life and the lives of the shepherds and the simple country people. Picaresque presented society through the eyes of a picaro, rogue, and usually included biting satire or moral commentary. In drama, there was a slow development. Lope de Ruda created Paso, a short farce that ridiculed the daily life of his time. By the way, what's farce? Take note, consider it as number one. Set E question. What is farce? Number one, set E question. Set E question number one. What is farce? If you can still remember the genre of literature when we had our introduction during the preliminary period. So Golden Age dramatist Lope de Vega, who wrote popular works that mix tragic and comic element. He drew on historical events and glorified national heroes. Okay, now the English heritage. So we're almost there. The English heritage. We're almost there, guys. And then after this one, let's have the set E questions. Okay. Actually, we will have a long deadline or yes, far deadline for set E questions. So you don't need to worry about finishing everything. So please take note of these things na lang. All right. So the English heritage, people found more joy in the things around them and became interested in the new experiences and the world beyond. So the period from 1400 till the death of Shakespeare in 1616. An age of poets during the English Renaissance. Poems dealt with love, love with man and woman, love between friends, love between man and God. Now, important lyric poem composed was English sonnet. Wait lang, guys. All right. Oh, wait lang po. Okay, I'm just fixing something. Sorry. Okay. So again, so we have age of poets during the English Renaissance here. Poem dealt with love, love with man and woman, love between friends, and love between man and God. Then important lyric poem composed was English sonnet, which differ from Italian sonnet in its rhyme scheme. Then another crowning glory of English Renaissance was drama. known for their beautiful language. So delved into complex characters and themes, frequently offering insights about human nature. All right. So as we go back, we discuss the human the Italian heritage, second the French heritage, Spanish heritage, the English heritage. Okay, so now let's have development of European literature in the 17th century, the Age of Reason. What do we mean by Age of Reason? What is this? So, Age of Reason, as nation grew more prosperous through the discovery, exploration, and colonization of the new land, individuals became more ambitious to gather material wealth for themselves. So, literature emphasized reason, discipline, and strict imitation of Greek and Roman literature. Formalism, correctness, accuracy in word choice, and rhythmic expression of thought became the ideal. The most important literary activity of the period was criticism with logical reasoning. It's not only you criticize, but of course you have to provide a logical reason. Why you say something? Why is that so? So there must be a corresponding reason, and that reason must be logical. That's why we call it age of reason, because they are very critical and you really have to provide something to explain your reason or your being critical. Satire in both prose and verse is one of the most popular forms of expression. Now, the development of European literature in the 18th century, the age of Enlightenment. Oh, by the way, let me ask you number 2 and 3. Uh, I mean, number 3 question. Okay, number 3 question. Set E, number 2 and 3 question. Okay, number 2. You had your number 1 a while ago. So the number 2 question is, this is the time when the most important literary activity of the period was criticism with logical reasoning. What do we call this timeline or period in the European literature? They consider it the most important literary activity of the period was criticism with logical reasoning. So what period is this one? That's number 2. Set E, number 2 question. Number 3 question. 3, 4, 5. Sorry. 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Set E, 3, 4, 5. Literature emphasized reason, discipline, and strict imitation of Greek and Roman literature. What are the 3 things that they are going to consider in their word choice and rhythmic expression of thought? It became ideal in their literary composition. They need to have this F, this C, this A in word choice, and rhythmic expression of thought became the ideal. So what are these F, C, and A in word choice, and rhythmic expression of thought became the ideal. So that's set E, number 3, 4, 5. All right. So I think I need to end here for the presentation. I still have 15 slides, and please wait for my second lesson. Okay, that is going to be our last. All right, our second video. I mean, this is the continuation of this, and then we'll have the English literature, and that's our last. Okay, so please be ready of set E. Let's continue set E. So you need to complete this, guys. Set A, set B, and set C, and set D, that's third activity. And then set E is fourth activity. So again, you need to complete all the activities for you to be guaranteed with something. And you know that something. That's the code. Okay? For you to be guaranteed with something. So you will win that something, and you know that it is posted in our group. Okay, so guys, let's continue the set E. Number 6. Ready? So please just write it on your paper. Well, of course, I want everyone to just like complete this thing. I know it will be very easy because the copies are given to you guys. And I don't know if you're going to say, it's too hard, mom, we cannot find it. Don't say it. Everything is given. Requirement natin is you have to stay. You have to attend. All right. So, let's go. Number 6. Ready? Yes, ready. Continuous yung questions ko, ha? So just pause when you are going to write the answer and you can play again. Number 6. It is a period when a great metropolis with 1 million or more inhabitants, magnificent buildings, and comfortable roads. ARL. A great metropolis with 1 million of road inhabitants, magnificent buildings, and comfortable road. What period is that? That's number 6. What is the greatest virtue in the Roman Republic? What is the greatest virtue in the Roman Republic? For them, business was foremost, and the mission to be accomplished had no room for pleasure and delight. That's number 7. It is the greatest virtue in the Roman Republic. For them, or for Romans, business was foremost, and the mission of the accomplished had no reason for pleasure and delight. Question number 8, set E number 8. Tell me the period or the age. What age is this? As the Western Roman Empire became weakened, the ills within it, barbaric tribes swarmed into it. These long years after the end of the Western Roman Empire, from 476 to 100, referred to as Blanc. What age or what period is this? This is number 8. Number 9 and 10. 9 and 10. There are three genres. There are 3 genres that were so popular under the or during the Dark Ages and Middle Ages. 9 and 10 just give me 2 genres. There are 3 presented under or popular genres. I mean, there are other genres, but what are these popular genres that they really talk about? So just give me 2. That's 9 and 10. Number 11. It is called any biblical plays performed usually in groups or cycles during the medieval period. It is any biblical plays performed, usually in groups or cycles, during the medieval period. 11. It is a type of medieval drama in which the characters are personified abstraction, and two main themes of religious moralities are the struggle between good and evil powers for man's soul and journey or pilgrimage of life. It is a type of medieval drama in which the characters are personified abstraction. Two main themes of religious moralities are the struggle between good and evil powers for man's soul and journey or pilgrimage of life. Number 8, it marked the rebirth of the human spirit. Rebirth made possible all the great achievements of modern man, the great discoveries beyond the seas, the new science, and the great modern literature and art. What time is it, or what period is this? It is marked, or this period marked the rebirth of the human spirit. Rebirth made possible all the great achievements of modern man, the great discoveries beyond the seas, the new science, and the great modern literature and art. So that's number 13. That's number 13. Next, number 14. Attitude that emphasizes the dignity and the worth of individual is the basic premise of what wait lang. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. It is an attitude that emphasizes the dignity and worth of the individual. This is the attitude that emphasizes the dignity and the worth of the individual. That's number 14. Number 15. The Renaissance revival of Greek and Roman studies emphasized the value of the classics for their own sake rather than for their relevance to what? So in Renaissance revival of Greek, this is number 14. In the Renaissance revival of Greek and Roman studies emphasized the value of the classics for their own sake rather than for their relevance to what? Starts with letter C. That's number 14. Number 15. What was the central feature of Italian Renaissance? What was the central feature of Italian Renaissance? Which was a direct result of the perceived anarchy of the 13th century. The central feature of the Italian Renaissance was the reset, which was a direct result of the perceived anarchy of the 13th century. That's number 15. Number 16. Under the Italian heritage, these were invented to express personal emotion. What are these? That's number 16. These were invented to express personal emotion. Number 17. The interest in individual character is most intense. In this kind of genre, literary type, in this literary type, the interest in individual character is most intense. That's number 17. Number 18. Under the French heritage. Under number 18, French heritage. Literature in France is divided into three periods, right? Into three periods. So 18, 19, 20. I'm going to read number 18 first. This is the period that there was a tireless, or yes, I mean, he was or were a person or a popular writer or founder or author was tireless editor of the text and translator of voluminous writing of the church fathers. So interest in spiritual, intellectual Catholicism with piety free from superstition. What age is this? Number 19. This age talks about the unity that had characterized Western and Central Europe in the Middle Age vanished as Christianity and was divided into Catholics and Protestant. What age is that? And number 20, career monk soon became a physician. The religious belief, not too different from Erasmus. And the encyclopedic mind reflect enthusiasm for the new humanistic learning. So that's number 20. Number 21. Another way by which scholars divide Renaissance of literature of France through its dominant characters. What kind of humanism was there or was present during the 55 years? And that's number 21. And number 2, what kind of humanism was there in the remaining 50? That's number 22. 23 and 24. 23, in the Spanish heritage. Early 1500s, Juan Boscana and Garcilaso de la Vega introduced meter, verse forms and themes of Italian Renaissance poetry, but other poets preserved the Castilian tradition of writing short verse. There are two types of novel. 24. It is, kung tama ba yung number ko, kapag mali, kayo na lang mag-correct. Correct it. Basta sa akin dito, 24. But if it's wrong, it's okay. Kasi alam naman natin, pambabalikan natin ito mamaya. Okay, 24. This novel idealize rural life and the lives of the shepherds and the simple country people. In number 25, this novel presented society through the eyes of Picaro, and usually included biting satire or moral commentary. 26. Under what heritage is this? People found more joy in the things around them and became interested in new experiences and the world beyond. People found more joy in the things around them and became interested in new experiences and the world beyond. What heritage is that? And then remaining for 3 points or 4 points, for 4 points, in one or two sentences. Just state a little what is or are the differences between Roman and Greek literature in one or two sentences. The difference or differences between Roman and Greek literature. All right. So, guys, thank you so much and listen to this instruction. There is a post there that says in our group that says sa group natin, guys, take note. Set A to set D questions, screenshot here. So you have to screenshot your answer, set A, set B, set C, set D. Isa lang. Take a picture, take a picture of it and then drop it in the comment section under that picture. That picture is set A, set B, set C, and set D. Isa lang. So just take a picture of it. And then we will have a separate, what's this? We will have a separate picture of set E. Okay? Ang deadline ng set A, set B, set C, and set D, it will be at 2:30. Oh, let's extend a little, 3 p.m. Again, deadline of the set A to set D, 3 p.m. today. Okay, December 14. And deadline of set E will be on Wednesday. Okay, so Wednesday at 7 p.m. So guys, thank you so much. And please, I will continue this presentation. Yes, for the second short video for this presentation, I still have 15 slides to finish for the European literature. And after European literature, we will proceed to the last, which is English literature. Okay, so guys, thank you so much and keep posted. Kindly check the announcement and things will be there. Get the things there. Thank you so much and keep posted for the next video lesson. Bye-bye.